Stephen Ye, Dr. Stephen Ye, Mayor of Union City, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before I say a few words, I would like to say something for your information regarding to the Dr. Stephen Ye. Back to 10 more years ago, I was lucky enough. I was posted in Washington D.C. I was lucky enough to have a dinner with the banquet with Dr. Stephen Ye several times on different kind of occasions. But I got one question that until today I couldn't figure out. How come your Mandarin Chinese is much better than my English? So I hope he will deliver his speech to anybody in Mandarin Chinese tonight. 非常谢谢，非常谢谢人们邀请，对吧？刚刚因为有几个常在赶场，没有办法准时来，非常抱歉。我今天是大年的20正月20，所以我也特别利用这个机会来给大家拜个晚年。代表我们处理的全省同仁，祝福大家龙年行大运要什么有什么，特别我们在座的很多的 young generation 回去能够多多的加油做不论是龙子或者龙女都好，最好有龙凤胎因为不论是在我们台湾或者在美国，生育率都相当的低，我们都要在龙年好好的努力一下。当然，国内最近的经济发展也非常的蓬勃，虽然是去年这个经济成长率还有5.多的以上，这也是相当令我们振奋那么这去年1年来，我们商会在这个 Frank 的领导之下一直都很平稳的成长。那么我相信在他操盘之下，这个商会的经费一定是大幅的增长，对不对？所以我也祝福他，那么也祝福在座的每一位，在今年都能够龙年行大运都能够宏图大展。那么如果有任何事情需要我们处理来继续跟大家合作的话，没有问题，我们已经跟大家来合作。多谢各位的邀请，祝福大家，谢谢。
我们谢谢江处长的祝福。那么现在下一个节目就是我们要请我们的Mr. Ye 来替我们做演讲。他是前美国白宫副总统办公室国际安全副助理叶望辉先生。我们请钟宪来介绍一下好不好？我们创会会长，谢谢。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our Chamber's 17th New Year's banquet. And I believe, probably not all of you, but some of you will attend for the 17th annual. And I just have one survey. Who remember the 6th year's annual banquet and who is the keynote speaker? Anyone remember that? You know that? Who? Okay, yeah. I think our topic tonight is related to our previous keynote speaker. We invite Ms. Tai over here as a keynote speaker. So, being our keynote speaker has the potential to become the president candidate, right? So, yeah. During the dinner time, and we chat about everything happened so quick, just in the last week, and so many things happened, especially in Los Angeles. And what we talk about is the insanity. Then I don't know who knows what's the insanity, but probably some of you know, right? It's Jeremy Lin. He plays so well, even with the Lakers game. Okay. Anyway, let's back to our topic. I will introduce our keynote speaker as the Council General mentioned 10 years ago. Actually, our keynote speaker been to Bay Area 12 years ago. And in year 2000, we have invited our keynote speaker address to this chamber for a couple times, 2 times. And of course, we all remember his Mandarin is much fluent than every one of us in English. Okay, so it's a surprise. And in the early day, back into 1987 and 1989, he stayed 2 years in Taiwan. And he said he stayed in several cities, from the Changhua, Taidong, and Hengchun, a lot of places. And he said he had to pick up the language because he had to survive. And after that, he actually served in the Department of Defense for 5 years, from the 1991 to 1996. And after that, he served another 5 years in the Heritage Foundation from 1996 to 2001. And of course, I mentioned earlier, in year 2000, and he visited our Bay Area and addressed to our Chamber of Commerce also, not a banquet like this, but in our occasion. And the most important, he had the 4 years experience served in the White House as the Deputy Assistant to the Vice President Cheney for the National Security Affairs. So it's a surprise. And then after that, since 2006 to now, he's served as the President of the DC International Advisory. So in his whole career, his life, he really have focused in national security, and especially, we have a lot of things to talk about after election. Someone said after the election, Taiwan, it's okay, everything is fine because the President Ma was re-elected. But it's a big concern to a lot of people too, because someone talked about the general concern, the 92 consensus. And to Ma's statement, there's only one China, that's the Republic of China. But to the understanding of the PRC, they said, no, not China, it's a PRC China. And to the United States, probably they say, this could be the status quo. So which one is the real one? So I think we have lots of questions in our mind. And our keynote speaker will give us a detailed analysis. That's his professional. Okay, now without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Yates.
各位爱台湾的朋友，大家好。Very grateful to once again be invited back to this area, to the Chamber of Commerce, to be in the Bay Area. My opening statement in Taiwanese is intended to fool you into believing that I can understand Taiwanese, but that wouldn't be true. In the 1980s, I was blessed with the opportunity to spend 2 years in Taiwan, but Taiwan was just barely beginning the democratic process at the time. And at the time, the government preferred that we speak Mandarin. Turned out to be a better deal for me professionally because then there was this whole other geography known as China that I could go to. Taiwanese takes me to the Bay Area, to New York, and other places. There wasn't a lot of Taiwanese being spoken in Beijing when I had to go there for later work. Although there was a time that you'll appreciate that Jiang Zemin talked to me and said, you really do have too thick of a Taiwan accent. You should improve your Mandarin. Thank you very much, Chairman. I'd like to especially thank Frank Ho for organizing things in the chamber and for having me here, and for John for being a consistent friend over the years and staying in touch. I am a little bit sad that each year you have to kick out a president and bring a new president in, so there are so many presidents of the chamber, but it does make for a very strong fraternity of people who can host tables in future events. But for the topic that you've asked me to talk about, I feel a little bit embarrassed because you've had a good meal and now I need to talk about some things that are not very happy. And you also have a magician coming later who will be much more entertaining. But I have spent more than half of my life coming and going to Taiwan. While I never feel like I share any sense of lack of patriotism in the United States, I do have a special place in my heart for the struggle that has been Taiwan's democratic progress. Economic progress people have talked about a lot, but we have people who go to universities and study about political transitions, talk about governments, come up with elegant ideas and papers, but in Taiwan over the last generation, you can see people actually have to do the hard work of creating a new democracy. I was deeply, deeply moved by watching these transitions in people's households. When I went to the town of Mado in 1987, and I had been told in my university that I was very, very fortunate because I was going to have the great opportunity to go to the real China, and that I should really take the full advantage of the opportunity to learn traditional characters and traditional culture because I was going to the real China. And by the time I got to Mado, I had already been to Taidong, and in 1987 you had to check in with the police every town you moved to in Taiwan if you were a foreigner. And so I checked in at the police station in Taidong, and the man looked me in the face and he said, Can you teach me Japanese? I've been mistaken for a lot of things in life, but not for a Japanese teacher. And so I looked, I said, actually no, but why would you want to learn Japanese? Because I'm from Taipei, and I've been sent here to serve in the police station in Taidong. But in most of my jurisdiction, people only speak Taiwanese, Japanese, and a local tribal language. I only speak Mandarin, so I was hoping you could teach me Japanese so I could talk to the people in my jurisdiction. Well, so much for the real China I was supposed to be coming to see. And then when I moved to Mado, I started hearing all of these stories about, well, you know, you Americans, you talk about the alliance and World War II, but my family lost a great deal of land after the KMT came to Taiwan after World War II. And much of this area was actually very negatively impacted by what you call free China. And they went on to tell me all these things. I thought, my goodness, this was not in the textbooks that we had in the university. And I am still, to this day, in search of the real China. I did have the good fortune of visiting what most people call the real China in Beijing a few times, but even to me, that is not the real China. That is a China that has temporarily had its soul stripped from it so that a failed European ideology can impose itself until the people rise up and become real Chinese people again. Because there is nothing Chinese about communism. And I personally don't consider that to be the real China. So I was sent to Taiwan, didn't find the real China. Sent to the mainland, didn't find the real China. So I came to San Francisco today, and I found the real China.